Welcome to Cornerstone Wellness Conversations. I'm your host, Rachael Espaillat, and I have my co-host here with me, Dr. James Greenfield, as we explore pressing health issues in rural communities while also offering practical insights and solutions to raise awareness.
One thing I think we're going to be talking about today, which is a hard topic, is suicide. Suicide gets exposure, I think, but not fully understanding. People talk about it and then they forget about it,
Yeah.
unless, of course, it hits you. I mean, I don't know, not to push buttons or anything, but have you had anybody close or people in your family?
Yeah, so actually, when I was in my first reporting job in Hagerstown, Maryland, I had a cousin who died by suicide. And it was one of those weird things because he and I were very close as kids. We were actually like in the same classroom every single day for
Right.
a few years. And then we grew up and we grew apart, and I felt a lot of guilt.
It's a hard thing dealing with that, and we sit and we scratch our heads and try to figure out what went wrong and what could I have done better. I know as a physician, no matter what we do as a physician, there's no way we're going to go through an entire career and not deal with suicide. We always try to decide, is there something better I could have done? Did I miss any signs? Those are the hard things. So what I'm going to start with is basic statistics.
Mhm.
And statistics are interesting sometimes because they give you information, but I don't think they give you all the information all the time. And there are things we can look between the cracks on these statistics that we need to look at addressing. You
Yeah.
know, when I've gone to the CDC websites, the group of people that have the highest death rate by suicide percentage per 100,000 are the age of 10 to 14. It's the number two cause of death. And you say, wow. But we don't look at the statistic that 22.7, almost 23% suicide death was 85 and older. Why do you think that is? Why do you think we miss that? I mean, do you hear much yourself about suicide in people over 70 and 80?
No, honestly, I don't really hear about it often.
No.
And it didn't even occur to me until, we started discussing topics and came about it. And I think the big part of it is that it makes sense, right? As people get older, they have friends and family members around them dying, and the socialization in general gets slimmer and slimmer as we get older.
I agree with that. All those things disappear. We're not talking here about any particular study or any type of statistic. We're
Right.
talking about compassionate common sense right now.
Hmm.
Okay. And I think that goes a lot further when we pay attention to it. So you have someone who might not be mobile anymore. They have a hard time even doing their own groceries. They're often alone. Our culture has changed. I remember my parents, they had the great grandparents, they were in the same place. They lived together, they took care of them. Our culture today is I have my life, let me go put you in a nursing home. I'm not trying to shame or point fingers. That's not the point here. It's just that the culture has changed. Some people do need nursing home care no matter what, because we are not able to take care of them at home. There are people that have such bad memory, Alzheimer's disorders, or they just can't ambulate and walk, and they don't have control of their bowels, and you still have to work. A lot of our social net programs don't pay for a person to be there 24/7 in the house to help out with you. And or if they don't pay for it, most of us don't make enough money to be able to pay for that. People end up going to nursing homes for those reasons too. And I understand all that. The problem is you have somebody who's isolated. They really can't take care of themselves. You don't see many visitors. The halls are usually empty. You have a situation where you're alone. You're in a foreign place. You're not in your home anymore. You don't have control over what you eat, when you eat. All these different things are gone. And then the next thing is, what's your purpose as a human being? Now, this is just me applying common sense. Don't you think we tend to need a purpose?
No, scientifically, humans are one of the only mammals that need to feel like they have purpose in order to survive.
Right. So we take all those big things away and we forget.
Yeah.
And that's my interpretation of these statistics of what truly is happening with our over 70, over 80 group and why this is happening.
I think another element too, which I've experienced and observed, is that people of that older age bracket that are still pretty functional are extremely stubborn and don't want to accept help because it makes them feel like they're losing their independence. And my grandmother's first cousin, she's like 75 years old, and she decided to buy a house that's 3 hours north of like where the limited family that she has left is. She needs some sort of help, at least somebody to check in on her.
In today's world, it's hard driving 3, 4 hours someplace to see a family member at times. And our culture is that families have really stretched out as we have parents and grandparents that age that might need help that somehow or another they get moved closer to us, if not even if they're living with us, but at least closer. Well, if it's within 10, 15 minutes of your house, maybe you stop by for lunch 3 or 4 times a week. You bring a cake that they like to eat or so anything like those things, and you spend some time. That gives them purpose. They have purpose to see you again. Give them a task like, hey, can you write down some of this stuff? Because I don't remember these. I mean, give them things to do that only they could do. If we're too far away, it's hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we look at our younger generation, when you go to work, a lot of jobs even have suicide prevention hotline. Someone might say something to you. When you're in school, there's other people around. There's high school, there's counselors, there's grammar school, there's counselors, and they watch, they go, something's not right with this child. Let's address this thing. We have at least some systems in place. But what do we do for that 83-year-old lady whose husband has died and she's living at home by herself? How do we safety net that group? I don't have any great answers because they're probably not even going to watch a YouTube channel like this.
I think an important thing is family members, loved ones, look into your local communities for what resources are available for the elderly. There's senior centers. Those tend to be a great place for socialization. And there are some resources too to even have people come into the house.
That would be a thing to do if you could afford it. Because remember, if they can take care of themselves, you're not going to get any help from any of the insurances or Medicare or anything to bring anybody in. So that would be on your dime or their dime. And then think about this. I don't know about you, but my mom, if she were in that position, would probably say, I don't need anybody in my house. I don't need a babysitter coming by to see me. So we have to deal with some of those things too. And of course, we have area on aging. Most places have those organizations, which are very good. And they do a lot of help with trying to make sure that our elderly are safe. Yeah, you're right. Find out what's going on in the community. Find out what you can plug into. Find a purpose for no matter where they're at, even in a nursing home.
Most elderly people, definitely depends on the individual, but love connecting with younger generations. If we could bring them around kids, I think that would, and I guess even too, just like local free events that are going on.
I agree. If you just bring them out, I mean, you just have to think about it. And it's the lonely effect, isn't it?
It is. It is.
For us, I think as people, it's also what can I do that makes a difference now? But we don't often do that. I was watching a 30-second YouTube run where a YouTuber had mentioned, like, do you know your great great grandmother's name? You know where they came from? No. Do you know anything about their brothers or sisters? What their life was like? No. So after we're gone, our closest family might be set for a couple of years and they might be thinking about us, but it's not going to take too long until everybody forgot about us. They go back to work, continue on with their life. And whatever you did really didn't make a big difference. But what we do today makes a difference for someone else right now. And so you think about our elderly group here, what we can do today to help their life, it's worth it because that's what is going to make a difference now.
Tough topic today, but definitely a necessary conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.